more like we are going back to France. We were there at the last World Cup, and then we are just going back for the Olympics. The Super Falcons needs to do a lot of job before that. Randy Wardrum has his job cut out. He already know what he needs to do. You're playing against the world champion. Spain might be qualifying for the first time for the Olympics, but they are the current world champion. Nigeria has been at the Olympics many years before, but this is going to be a very dicey one. You're playing against Brazil, you're playing against Japan. These two sides have never won the gold medal, but they are silver medalists in previous championships. I mean, talking about ranking, Nigeria is ranked the lowest in that group. So it's a very tough job. But if there's anything we can be sure of is the fact that these guys will tend to do their best and give all their everything they've got on the pitch. We remember the last World Cup against England. If not for the ill luck, that would have been an opportunity to get back into the quarters. And we saw every single thing that these ladies brought on the pitch. We've got stars across the board, and most of our stars don't even play on the continent. They play in Europe, they play in Americas, they play in Mexico. So it's Wardrum trying to bring these guys in, and I will implore the NFF trying to, and then not the NFF alone, in this Ministry of Sport and the Nigeria Olympic Committee to quickly do the needful for these guys to be in camp early.
All right.
What we have is a huge one.
You've spoken about it that we are the lowest rank in that particular group. Do you think we're going to come out with anything? From what you saw against South Africa in the second leg, you think this will?
Okay, so that's the thing. If against South Africa, Mike, we spoke about this on the beautiful game. That I was a bit skeptical because you're going away, but they know the assignment and they did the job. All they needed was not to concede, and we saw that playing through, and they were able to just go through. South Africa is actually one of the best teams on the continent. The coach, Desiree Ellis, has been voted coach of the year times again. She has done so well. But right playing at home with all the support, they couldn't get the needed goal against the Super Falcons. Randy Wardrum known that he's got a lot of, and kudos to him. I mean, he has been able to scout for a lot of talent across that are now starting. If Asisa Toshoala is not starting, if Rashida Tajibade is there, Uchina Kano, Onumono, all these ladies, the youngsters like Demeyin, like Chamaka Nadozie, who is actually going to be playing at home in court because she plays for Paris FC. It's going to be a very good job and a very good platform for everybody to show themselves. Whether it's Spain, whether it's Jenny Amoso, whether it's all the top stars, whether it's Brazil without Mata who was retired, whether it is any side, Japan, one of the best sides in women's football. All you have to do is 11 against 11. Nigeria is the best team in Africa. You are playing against some of the best in the world. What better platform to show it than we've not done so well in the last few tournaments that we've been prior to us having this 16 years ahead of us, but we are back right now. And one of the hopes of Nigeria to get a medal, we have to be on this Women Olympics team. The men team won't be there. So all of our energy will be focused on these ladies, and I'm hoping that they get to show us the stuff they're made of.
All right, Sam, let's move over. Let me just have your thoughts just before you go on the Europa League. Liverpool versus Atalanta. It was quite a shocker. What are your thoughts on that particular match? Can Liverpool make it to the semi-finals of Europa League?
Can they? Yes. It's football. Mathematically, it's still very, very possible. But anyone that follows Serie A, and especially Atalanta, we know it is going to be a tough task. They are one of the giant killers in Serie A. And it's so shocking for a lot of people when they were talking about it. Yes, I didn't see Atalanta winning at Anfield, but I knew they were going to put up a good fight. But then by winning 3-0, they showed the stuff they are made of. All the players on that pitch, they always sweat their blood for their Gasperini. Piero Gasperini has done a good job with that side. He's been there for about 8 years. And he has had to replace players upon players. Jose Pilis at one time was the top guy. He was replaced. Alejandro Gomez, who is now banned, was the top guy at one point. Ivan Zapata at a point. He has done it over and over again to replace some of the best players. And that team still keep doing well. I waited Ademola Lookman right there in front right now. And Skamaka, who had a very tough season at West Ham last year, is back there, back home now, and is doing well. I don't see Liverpool qualifying. yes, they might get a win, but I don't see them qualifying in any form or way. If anyone is thinking they're going to do anything, they probably don't know Atalanta. They should go and watch some of their games. They don't cower. They play the best football every single time, whether they lose or they win. And against Liverpool, you're not going to see your typical Italian team defending. That 3-5-2 that he has been playing is a sure thing that he has played before. A lot of coaches have adopted that. You can talk about Ivan Juric. You can talk about Thiago Motta. You can talk about even Antonio Conte. These are guys that adopt this 3-5-2 from Gianpiero Gasperini. So for a lot of English fans that probably don't know about that, this is not going to be a walk in the park. Liverpool can get a win, but I don't see them qualifying in any way or form.
All right, thank you very much, Sam. It was great talking to you and having your insights on the Falcons and, of course, the Europa League.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's take a look at games this weekend. In the EPL, we're going to start with Tottenham Hotspur will be up against Newcastle.
Yeah,
now
early kickoff.
It's going to be the race for the title is heating up. I think Tottenham is going to have a hand because they're going to play, almost
Liverpool,
all the top three.
City and Arsenal.
You think that they can really have a hand? Are you sure they're not going to give all of them points? Would they have a hand? Looking at, let's take a look at, of course, the fixtures for this weekend.
They will, because they will also be trying to hunt Aston Villa in the top 4 race.
In the top 4 race.
Definitely, it's going to be very important for Postecoglou and his boys, definitely.
Now, look at it now. If they have a fixture list that starts with Newcastle, and then there's Liverpool, there's Arsenal, and there's Manchester City. Do you think that they have the Arsenal ready to take on all these teams? Because it is not going to be an easy.
It's not going to be easy. Definitely, they will lose some, but we don't know who they'll be losing to.
Okay, now that's the question. That's the question. They will definitely lose. They can't get all the points.
Some. I don't know if they'll win any of them, but they would definitely at least lose 1 or 2 of these games. It could be against Liverpool, it could be against Arsenal. Arsenal may want it more. It could be against City. It could be against anybody. They could even lose early kickoff game against Newcastle because they'll be traveling to St. James Park. They've been blowing hot and cold. Postecoglou somehow, tries to paint it in a way that, look, it's not disappointing, but actually it's disappointing because you're not playing in any other competition, and yet you're still struggling to gain points.
And they're considering that they started the season quite well. In fact, at one point they were entrenched in the top 4. It seemed like okay.
Their players were winning the Player of the Month. He was also winning Manager of the Month back to back. It was looking like the Lily Rose guys are about to be serious. But unfortunately, Tottenham will always be Tottenham.
They will always be Tottenham. Now let's take a look at Manchester City. Will be up against Luton Town. You think Luton can put a spanner in the works of Manchester City? Because as it stands now, it's looking like 7 finals. They have Real Madrid to come up in the Champions League just next week. Yeah, it's a 3-3 draw. It's finally poised. Anything could happen in that particular time. You think they might rest people for this fixture? Kevin De Bruyne wasn't able to play in the first leg. There was talk about him having a stomach upset or something like that. But you think that Luton, in any way, that they can put a spanner in the wheel of Manchester City?
Maybe if Luton were at home, I would have said maybe yes. But they even tried it and they were whooped. I think was it not 4-2 or so at home. But although they scored first, they're coming to the Etihad this time around. And it's a ground where there's no how you would not feel that nerve or that feel inferior.
But they are
to some extent
to qualify, considering that I think it's Nottingham Forest had 2 points deducted.
No,
so
Everton.
Everton had, but Nottingham Forest just had. Like 2 points deducted. So now as it stands now, the race is neck and neck, even in the relegation zone. It's not yet confirmed. I mean, look at the other fixtures here.
I don't think
Brentford,
winning against City would help them.
So Brentford will be up against Sheffield United. Burnley will take on Brighton. Manchester City, of course, like we mentioned, will take on Luton Town. Nottingham Forest will be up against Wolves. Bournemouth will tackle Manchester United. It will be Liverpool at home on Sunday against Crystal Palace at Anfield. Can they, of course, take off the effects of that particular whooping that they got from Atalanta? West Ham United will take on Fulham after taking on Leverkusen, and then Arsenal will take on Aston Villa. That should be a banana peel.
Yeah, that's a serious banana peel. Unai Emery, we don't know the Unai Emery side that will turn up. They could just turn up and be like, oh, we just want to put a pause in your tracks. But at the same time, Arsenal at the Emirates are on fire. They're doing so well at home. In the league, especially, they've not conceded so much goals. I think they've only conceded 4 or 5 goals in the last 10 matches. They've been scoring 2 or more goals as well at home. So I think it will be a professional game. They'll be wary because they also have Bayern Munich. At the same time, let's just settle for goals here.
All right, next week when we come back, we'll talk about the UCL.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite an exciting one and see how all the teams will go. But Torres, it's been a pleasure having you this
thank you for having
morning, as usual. All right, now that's it on Sports Update. Don't go anywhere. Of course, I will wrap up the show, but that's after taking a hit from Techno.